Stage 2 of the 47th edition of the Tour of Hungary, and from the shortest stage of the week to the longest. The second day of racing action, fully 206 kilometers. Beautiful conditions for the riders, just nudging 20 degrees Celsius. A brisk breeze from the west set to blow across the riders during the day. Could be interesting as the riders get set to make their way out of Körverseny, the geographical centre of historic Hungary. And racing across the Great Hungarian Plain upon the Körverseny River out of Körverseny, first mentioned as an ethnic Hungarian town in 1495. 3 intermediate sprints along the way, 1 classified climb. Bonus seconds at each of the intermediate sprints could be interesting. That single ramp up, not particularly long, but coming as it did within 13 kilometers of the finish line. Racing down towards Pax, the nuclear capital of Hungary, home to the only nuclear power station producing a huge and very significant amount of the nation's electrical power. How much power would be in evidence for the riders today. The Körverseny Water Theatre playing host to fans in that Roman amphitheatre style since 2011. Beautiful location, beautiful occasion. The 112 riders still in the event, enjoying the local fare and the local entertainment ahead of the start of the stage. Johann Sebastian Milano wearing the green jersey on behalf of points leader and overall race leader Tim Merlier, to improve upon his third place finish. Indeed, second place finish, wasn't it, on day 1 for the Colombian rider, the UAE team member at XRG squad. Körverseny playing host to Tour of Hungary, a very relaxed looking Tim Merlier. Let's see if he could double up on his first visit to the Tour de Hongrie. The jersey classification wearers and holders. Balint Karpati, the white jersey, leading Hungarian rider after his 10th place finish on day 1 in the company of Merlier, Milano and Christian Egholm wearing that Mountains jersey. No Mountains points distributed on day 1, but his exploits in the early break meaning that he would at least be more recognizable in the peloton. Starting the day second overall, just a single second down. Well, Huku, fine sprinter for the Q36.5 Pro cycling team. Would he be able to infiltrate the top runners and run to the finish line? And through the ceremonial opening moments of the stage, an opportunity to take in some of the sights, the important symbolic center of the Hungarian kingdom, the historic Hungarian kingdom. Flag in and underway, and instantly plenty of activity, particularly as you might expect from the Hungarian national team and the local continental registered teams, the MBH Bank squad, which has plenty of its staff and riders from Italy, but plenty from Hungarian registered team, of course. Team United Shipping in those pale blue jerseys, and of course the Hungarian national colours with not quite but almost an all-rookie lineup. Clearly keen to get clear of the field, as indeed the Howell Sozan Altez team in those white jerseys lineup. Of course, made up of riders who specialize in cyclocross racing. Through and past the Körverseny National Park. Many different species of wildlife on view in those protected gardens. Jakob Söderqvist trying his luck for the Lidl Trek squad for the second day in succession. The World Tour team, one of 7 World Tour teams, of course, in the Tour de Hongrie, wanting to be represented up front. His teammates on day 1, Christian Ekholm and of course Matthias Norsgaard. This time they send the big Swedish rider, the national time trial champion of Sweden, and a fine ruler in a general sense, and the block goes on at the front of the peloton, suggesting that they're happy enough with the composition of a 5-rider group, all of whom start the day at a remove of just 10 seconds, so all of them threats on general classification. So it's interesting to see just how much daylight they're given by the main peloton as they start to rotate at the front. And we've got Mark Varga, this rider in the race. This is one of riders maybe a little less young. Tim Merlier on some, what would you say, unconventional equipment. It's an ordinary, of course, and once upon a time this was entirely conventional. Look what gear that is. A full 108 inches. Size of your gear in those days, of course, depended on the, depended on the, well, that's remarkable, isn't it? They Deer, that was a close and a near run thing for, well, all the riders on the front of the peloton, and indeed that poor unfortunate Deer out of the town of Sharvash, which means Deer. Oh dear. Great relief for Martin Severcek of the Sudal Quick Step squad that he just managed to avoid that one. Relief all round. And the main peloton not giving this 5-rider group a whole lot of space, are they? First of 3 intermediate sprints of the day, 3, 2 and 1 bonus seconds, 5, 3 and 1 points towards the points classification, and looking to get on the pedals smartly. Clyde Brukere of the Powell's Thousand squad launches first, not to be bested. Adrian Benito a little bit frustrated, but crossed the line in second place for the Team Polti Visip Malta squad. Varga towards the back, and his fellow countryman Marco Tutt from Team United Shipping third across the line on that occasion. The first of our 3 intermediate sprints today. We saw yesterday that Christian Ekholm was able to take all 3 intermediate sprints. All of 9 points means he's just a single second in arrears of the overall race leader, Tim Merlier. Intermediate sprint set to be important this week, and Yves Lampart sets his stall out on the front of the peloton for the Sudal Quick Step squad. Bahrain victorious. Third on day 1 with Phil Bauhaus. Need to represent close to the front. Severcek doing most of the donkey work in pursuit of this 5-rider group, and doing a very impressive job for a second day in succession to hold the gap at less than a minute. Still, well, it's pretty much exactly the halfway point of the bike race. Still half the race remaining, and less than a minute advantage for the 5 up front. Peloton cruising along in the wake, and stiff breeze, you can see, lifting those Hungarian flags and shaking the crops in the fields. Hugely popular event, this one. Just the 47th edition of a race which began in 1925. Stop-start affair throughout much of its existence, but so much energy put in from the local authorities to ensure that its legacy is maintained. And Royal Oliveira maintaining a watching brief on Juan Sebastian Milano and ensuring that he's being cool, calm and collected. Second sprint of the day, and this time Benito not to be caught out as De Brukere and Benito roll around the side of the 18-year-old Mark Varga. Varga at the back here, not scoring. Frustrating for him there, actually, because that was definitely the right thing to do. Rider at the back as we pick up the shots further on. Number 185, the Hungarian national team, just 18 years of age, and one of 13 teenagers in the event of the 112 riders. Oldest rider, of course, Bauke Mollema, 9 years of age, and Lidl Trekman. He was 23 when Varga was born. Main peloton closing this one down to a matter of just less than 20 seconds with 45k remaining, and the third and final intermediate sprint of the day. And the appearance of Vigart Stakalangan in the chase behind. Clearly there's a little bit of a plan from the UAE Team Emirates XRG squad to ensure that it's possible to sprint for points from the main peloton at that final sprint. And Kuznetsov taking third place behind the two breakaway riders on day one on all three occasions. So 3 bonus seconds gained on his GC rivals. Well, ahead of the race, but not for long. Our 5 riders retained. Chapeau, and congratulations to them. But they only, well, they got 3/4 of the way through the stage at the head of the race, but overhauled within about 8 kilometers of the third and final intermediate sprint of the day. The yellow jersey of Tim Merlier at the back of the arrowhead, looking cool, calm and collected, in amongst plenty of Sidal Quickstep jerseys. Not too keen, I suspect, on towing that one back. Would have been happy enough for those riders to stay clear, at least till a lot closer to the finish line. Luke Plapp finds a moment for a little bit of chat. Luke Plapp from the purple-clad team Jacob Alula squad was one for the GC. Not involved in this one, as we see Echelons in that Red Mountains jersey, looking to add to his total of 9 bonus seconds already gained on the first day of asking. And looking very powerful indeed. Kuznetsov up as well, looked like he scored, so that's more bonus seconds gained by the Frenchman in the white and black jersey of the UAE Team Emirates XRG squad. But those 3 bonus seconds gained, Dainese getting up for second, protecting the interest of Tim Merlier with that second place across the line. But you couldn't prevent Echelons from taking 3 bonus seconds that will move Echelons into virtual overall race lead. And in that red jersey, as long as it stays together all the way to the finish line, and he's part of that group, well, and of course the next thing he needs is that Tim Merlier doesn't score any bonus seconds at the finish line. It's a lot to ask, isn't it, after his dominant performance on day one. Eric Vetter now, the latest to try his luck, 2-time national time trial champion of Hungary. Lone chaser behind Takács from the Hungarian national squad. Across this hugely impressive bridge over the Danube River. Meanwhile, behind, things getting a bit of interesting. 25 kilometers to go. Bit of crosswind. Well, the crosswind's been there all day, and it looks as if the UAE team, in the company of Cofidis and Astana, are trying to create a split, and it's starting to work. Riders losing the wheel. Everyone in the gutter on the right-hand side. Just trying to squeeze it a bit at the front. A small group of riders have managed to latch on. How many can stay connected here? The worrying moment, because we're not seeing the yellow jersey. Where is Tim Merlier? Oh, there he is. Tim Merlier has a couple of teammates in front, and no sense of panic just yet. But what can they do about moving up, because they're pouring coal on this one. Eric Vetter, after his solo breakaway effort, is hoovered up by a front group that contains, what, no more than about 20 riders, if that. Cofidis squad well represented up front. UAE Team Emirates XRG, well, they must have at least 3 riders. Merlier links up as the groups connect on the road. Oh, is there enough firepower and cooperation? They all huddle in the gutter, and it doesn't look like there's... and right on his tail is Echelons. That red jersey in a crisis moment, because his dreams of a general classification lead, potentially spanner in the works here with this bit of echelon racing. All hands to the pump. Jacopo Mosca for the Lidl Trek squad is here. Will he contribute? Is he just rolling through? Are they thinking about Echelons, or now perhaps thinking about stage honours and trying to create something? Well, no doubt about what the UAE Team Emirates XRG squad are trying to do. They've got Kuznetsov up front. They've got Mohamed El Matawi, national champion of the UAE, is in there as well. Well, Oliveira available to contribute, and Benoit Kuznetsov potentially could leapfrog this man. Tim Merlier in the main peloton. Nothing he can do. His role is to sit and wait and leave it up to his teammates, and indeed, from his point of view, other riders from other teams to try and do the chasing, with the gap out to more than 20 seconds. Still a long way to go here. Maybe time to fix this one. We do have, though, a couple of ramps up in the final 20 kilometers, indeed in the final 15 kilometers, that could challenge the riders. Oliveira and Benoit Cosnefroy looking strong. Pericas managing to infiltrate this one as well. Juan Sebastian Milano just peeking his right shoulder out. We just spotted him at the back of the group. Fine sprinter. All other sprinters have managed to make it into the move. While the third intermediate sprint, we see confirmation of Egholm's gain of 3 seconds. But if that's to propel him into that yellow jersey, he and indeed the yellow jersey need to link back up. Stacker Langen available for the UAE Team Emirates XRG squad. Almost the full team. Certainly the strong riders available to do a turn of work behind. I wouldn't say they're at 6s and 7s, starting to get themselves organised now. And pretty much everyone being asked to do a job. Merlier, though, has Van der Berge just in front of him. Rider from looks like the Hungarian national team, starting to struggle there, just starting to struggle to hold the wheel. Gap out to 23, 25 seconds. The issues in doubt here. They could go either way. Key moment. Well, they make a right turn, and that will mean it's probably going to be something in the order of a tailwind. Probably about 30 riders here. Tunnison looks like he's on a pretty good day. The Astana team, and he wants to keep the impetus in this group. Not happy to see the cooperation level reduce. I think they could be closing it down. A little bit of reinforcement coming for the Team Jaco Alula squad. Modern Adventure Pro Cycling team. Those burgundy colours also well represented, but from their point of view, fighting a rearguard action. Want to repair the damage. The road rises sort of almost imperceptibly. It's about 1 or 2%, if even that, at this point in the proceedings for the riders, and they're going to try and grind this one back together again, because well, they haven't quite the same crosswind affliction. Just about sheer power. Gaps have been established. How much strength, how much cooperation. Cosnefroy has a little look around, and the Bahrain Victorious team, multiple representation indeed, including Phil Bauhaus. Meanwhile, behind that peloton, looks as if it's stretched taut. How many riders are willing and indeed able to push on to help close it down? Flanders Balois among those teams, the NSN squad as well. Well, Team Flanders Balois have a rider and have made it in. Cofidis have at least 3. And as we approach the single classified climb of the day, it's Cosnefroy that starts to step on the gas a bit. Calzoni is one of the riders for the Pinarello Q36.5 team. They've got Camprubi as well, also in the move. Pietrobon has latched on for Team Polti Visip Malta. Astana spotting the danger of this one. The gap out to almost 30 seconds, inside 16 to go. Going in the wrong direction for the peloton at the moment. Still fighting to gain some level of control, and this split well, it's causing all sorts of consternation in that group behind. They're struggling to make any worthwhile contribution. Looks a bit like Soderquist is starting to come from the Lidl Trek squad, and is this Tunnison from the Astana team, as it's all about Cosnefroy. And he's not really looking for a turn at the moment, and the rest of them are just hanging on. This drag is proving very, very challenging. Little look over the shoulder from Cosnefroy. Got all the right signals. Still putting daylight into that group that split in the echelons. And no sign just yet of that peloton managing to link up. Tim Merlier nestling in the body of the peloton. That's his job. Just stay there and hope. Stay present. Yeah, Trebon steps off the front. Multi-Visit Malta, well represented. Trying to clip across here is Söderqvist after his exploits in the early break. Manages to arrive over. That's super job. Cofidis trying to increase their representation. There's plenty of different teams here as well. Just the Q36.5 squad have 2 riders in, so there won't be any lack of effort from them. Plapa is having to do a little bit of his own work now for the Team Jacob Alula squad. All hands to the pump. Element of, if not panic, certainly huge concern from the riders in that peloton. Gap going in the wrong direction for them. Looking smooth, but all of these riders are close to the end of their tether. Cosnefroy looks as if he's really gulping in air, but he's full of fight. He's the one that created this. Thinning out that group, probably needed to have something of that, something like that happen in order to select the strongest and most committed riders. That's what they've got. Series of stalls here and there in that group behind. Source of frustration for one or two, and that main peloton I think is about to join up. You can see the peloton looming in the background, and they can't be more than just a handful of seconds behind the second group on the road, which is of course the remains of the breakaway group that these riders were in not so long ago. Still showing these riders with just over half a minute advantage on the main peloton, including Tim Merlier. Let's get a look behind as the first group of chasers almost joined it. There you go, there's the main peloton. Well, they can't be more than, what, about 10 or 11? Well, it's showing at 24 seconds between the group 2. As we look behind and see plenty of activity. I'm not too sure it's as big as that one. Bahrain victorious. Dearly they would love to link back up. It had representation in the first split in the echelon, but not currently where they want to be. As we arrive at 200 meters to the top of the first classified climb of the week. First and final classified climb of the day. Over the top, it looks pretty much inevitable this one's going to come together, certainly as the riders in the peloton link up with the remaining riders from that breakaway group. Down to a select group, just a handful of seconds. Surely this one's going to be knitted together. There's one or two riders kind of clipping across, aren't they, to that group? And there's the peloton behind, led by Team Jacob Alula. And that group too, just a mere handful of seconds behind. And there's Balint Karpati, who's probably wondering what hit him at this point. He's still there though. It's solid riding for the rider who was 10th across the line yesterday, hoping against hope he can survive to unleash that sprint, produce another top 10 finish for Hungary. The white jersey of leading Hungarian. The yellow jersey of leading bike rider in the race, Tim Merlier. There's some work to do. Still approaching half a minute down on these riders. Tennyson on a good day. Stage winner of the Tour de France some years ago, took with it the overall race leadership. Group swelling and size slightly as the chasers behind perhaps gaining a little bit of extra slipstream effect in that as they reach the higher speeds and the bigger the bigger aerodynamic draft effect. Zambanini taking the first mountains points will propel him into the lead of and that red jersey heading into stage 3. Oliveira has a little look. Soderqvist, what are the legs like? Behind Oliveira has Cosnefroid after that opening salvo. Thereabouts. Bauhaus now looks things the only Bahrain victorious rider who's managed to survive this repeated salvo after salvo, attack after attack. Inside 10 to go. We're over the final official climb of the day. We do have a ramp up to the finish line, by the way, and that comes just with about a kilometre to go. They make a left turn. The road sort of rises imperceptibly from 900 metres to go, but is actually quite steep as they get closer to the top. And it's only with about 50, maybe 75 metres to go that it levels off at all. The sprinters finish, and if they could put the big group together at the moment, well, it's still very much in the balance. That's a significant but not insurmountable challenge for that main peloton. The peloton, of course, has been greatly slimmed down in number, but it's not beyond the bounds possibility that these groups will come back together again. So maximum cooperation needs to be immediately re-established in this group. Vetter, what a great day, isn't he? After that speculative solo attack, produced dividends. So he was collected by the leaders after that crosswind split. Eight and a half to go, and the main peloton, well, very large in number, and presumably there are reinforcements that will be available and can help to close this gulf, but it's nip and tuck, a cuckoo either way. Yetrabon rolling through. The one powering all the race faces, the man who won last Sunday the Grand Prix de Morbihan in Brittany, third year in succession, fourth year in total. Benoit Cosnefroid secured that success and confirmed the sort of form that he's shown for quite a while now. It looks like he's in pain, but he's putting plenty of pain on the other riders as well. As time he arrives through, the rest have to set their elbows and their jaws and every part of their body absolutely locked and focus every joule of energy into pressing on the pedals. Head of the race still hanging on to their advantage, but also maintaining cooperation. No time for finessing. The chase is intense, to say the least. So now Quick-Step, naturally enough, trying to create something for their yellow jersey. It's Yves Lampart on the front. Also among those riders riding on the Jaco Lula squad. Going up slightly, everything counts. Second here, a second there. How much are they going to need? That final ramp in that last kilometre is going to necessitate, you can only assume, just a little bit of extra advantage as the latest push on the front from Walter Calzoni. Calzoni from the Pinarello Q36.5 squad looks full of fight today. 24-year-old Italian. Five and a half to go. Nearest hint of a semi-stall there for a moment, but they're quickly back attacking and back riding through, because the main peloton now just almost within touching distance. It'll be even less than 13 seconds. They're looking across at each other. Calzoni rolls through, Tennyson next to replace him, Bauhaus next to appear. And then Abele, I think it is for the Flanders Balois team. It's Tennyson. Take what would be an impressive and a very rare indeed. Well, the wins aren't so plentiful for Tennyson. Great lead-out man, as well as being a fine sprinter in his own right, but solo successes, vanishingly rare for the Dutchman. Is he going to be given just one of those opportunities? Well, he kind of showed himself to be powerful as he raced through that bend, opened up a bit of an advantage without necessarily wanting to. And it's Cosnefroid. Is it? No, Oliveira that's coming across here. Oliveira that's decided to defend the honour and the interests of the UAE member XRG team by linking up with the Staneman. Over 4 kilometers remaining. Max Beckens. Who's going to get there first? Well, right now it looks more and more likely that the main peloton are going to close them down. And well, this has been a brave effort, and Cosnefroid is given the signal to go, go, go. Rui Oliveira. Three and a half to go, and well, it's Phil Bauhaus, I think, that's just trying to cruise across the gap here. He's just put the head down, and he's showing huge power, and his willingness and interest to do that is actually just at the moment where they were being caught. They were literally at the moment of being caught by that main peloton, and that's just opened up a little more daylight once again, forcing the Team Joko Alula squad to go back to the front. I think shirk your work right now, because a moment's hesitation could be fatal in the bid for stage honours. Tennyson, Bauhaus, Oliveira crank it over into the right-hander. Inside 3 to go. The bend with about 2 kilometers to go, and then the left-hander just coming up to the kite. All in for Bahrain Victorious to try and deliver an important victory. A couple of stage wins already in his visits to the Tour de Hongrie for Phil Bauhaus. A couple of stage wins. This is his 4th visit to the event. 3rd on day 1. Another left-hander out onto the wide-open boulevard, and the main peloton just on verge of easing up onto the tail of Oliveira. And Oliveira is going to empty the tank here. He's got Cosnefroid in the pocket, and his own bid having failed, well, he'll recover, go again, and he's making the other grimace on his wheel, and it's having the desired effect. It's towing this group here back over the well, 5-6 second advantage. It's so finely poised. The fortunes of these riders all hanging on a knife edge. There, leading rider here, and Benno Cosnefroid 4th in line, waiting for his moment to pounce. So on the flat road, approaching the left-hander that will take them on the ramp through to the finish line. Oliveira given a bit of daylight. Perhaps they're all expecting the attack from Benoit Cosnefroy. Cosnefroy was trying to give his teammate just a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of free attacking room. Tunison, mindful of that, cruises up onto the tail of the Portuguese rider. So now into the final kilometre. And onto this final ramp, testing and demanding rise to the finish line in packs today. It is Oliveira from the UAE squad ahead of Mike Tunison, and here goes Cosnefroy. Benoit Cosnefroy off the wheel of the Flying Dutchman, who tries to respond. Will he get there? But Cosnefroy absolutely flat chat. Out of the saddle, nothing held back. 400 metres to go, and Tunison fighting hard to get on the wheel of the Flying Frenchman. I'm not sure he's going to get there, you know. Eric Vetter leaves the rest behind in his bid for what will be a fine top three finish. But I don't think anyone's going to stop Cosnefroy here. Tunison not able to get on terms. Where are the rest of the sprinters from the main peloton behind? Cosnefroy's not going to leave anything behind here as he pushes on. And Cosnefroy launching from the line. Gaviria from the bunch is not going to be able to get there either. Alexis Reynard from the team Kofod is going to be second across the line, but they're all vanquished by Benoit Cosnefroy, who takes victory on stage 2 of the Tour of Hungary. Well, what an exhausting and exhilarating and hugely entertaining finale. Well, Cosnefroy accepts the congratulations of his fellow countrymen, the Cofidis man, Alexis Reynard, but it's UAE Team Emirates XRG that are celebrating. What a stunning performance. Let's see what it means to Juan Sebastian Molano. He's delighted, as if he'd taken the win himself. Aye, indeed, Cosnefroy. Well, it was a lightning-fast acceleration. After all his attacking, he still had more to give, and it was fully 600 metres from the line. Slightly caught Mike Tunison napping. He was on the tail of Oliveira, maybe thinking that it would be a later bid for glory from Cosnefroy. And absolutely no chance to respond to that one. The daylight opening and continuing to widen the yawning gulf between the two, as Tunison in turn overhauled by Gaviria, and indeed his teammate Max Canter coming up from the group behind. And so others timing their bid to perfection. Alexis Reynard then appearing at the front of that group of 4 inside the final 100 metres, but no getting on terms with Benoit Cosnefroy. Cosnefroy home and hosed and clear to the line for his second victory of 2026. His second victory in 5 days. And it's going to be tough to beat in this kind of form. An exhausted and exhilarated Benoit Cosnefroy. To arrest after that one. Cosnefroy ahead of Alexis Reynard, Max Canter on the podium ahead of Maris Gaviria. Merlier getting up for 6th, and Oliver and Tyler Stites for the Modern Adventure Pro Cycling squad. Parasini and Juan Sebastian Molano at the outer reaches of the top 10, which is bookended by the UAE Team Emirates XRG squad, but it's Cosnefroy celebrating after day 2.
Was it planned that you guys try to split it somewhere?
Thank you. No, the first idea is to sprint for Seba Molano, but I stay in the front with Vegard, and Cofidis start to pull very hard, and we follow with the team and participate. For me, it's a good opportunity to try for for victory, but on a climb I pull and I create breakaway. On final I'm not. I don't have very good legs, but very work very well for me. And I watch behind me at 600 meters to the line to the finish, and I saw the bunch. And okay, no, I go and I will see. And at the end, it's amazing victory for me. Yes, I'm really happy for the team. He work every day for me, and this victory is for us.
Well, it's a fifth podium of the season, but it's a second victory for Benoit Cosnefroy. All smiles. Not necessarily the plan at the outset of the day, but he has vaulted into the overall lead with a 4-second advantage over Christian Echelons, and 16 seconds clear of the big group, including the general classification favourites. It's a nice little head start ahead of the stage 4 bid for overall glory. While Cosnefroy is going to take some beating on this form. Accepts the plaudits and the congratulations of the great and good at the finish line. Eduardo Zamperini into the lead of the mountains classification, something for Cofidis after being pushed into second place on the day. Zamperini will be easier to pick out on day 3. Eric Vetter is the new leader of the Best Hungarian Rider competition. He'll have that white jersey to have and hold. Proud moment for the young Hungarian, who gave a great account of himself with a brave bid for glory with a solo breakaway, and also from that echelon group that arrived. And Tim Merlier, some consolation, he has retained the lead just about of the points classification. We have another opportunity on stage 3 to try and repeat the alchemy with his second victory of the week. And still manages a smile on the finish line. More conventional sprint fare anticipated on day 3 from Capish-Far to Shekeshard. It's Benoit Cosnefroy celebrating the second stage of Tour de Hongrie.